Representative Morgan, welcome. Take as much time as you need to explain the bill.
Thank you, Chairman. My bill seeks to ban a destructive and divisive ideology that is termed critical race theory from our schools and from any entities that do business with the state of Rhode Island and receive government money. Let me explain a little bit about it. First of all, I can tell you that it is here and it is prevalent in our state. From the emails and the social media that I have received over the last few days, I can tell you that it is in every one of our colleges and universities, and it is in every one of our school districts, K through 12. I was a teenager when Martin Luther King became a leader of the civil rights movement. I heard his I Have a Dream speech on television. That day he set the goal for America. He said that he looked to a day when people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That was the goal. And I embraced it and have tried to live my life that way, and I think America embraced it. We not only held America accountable to our founding documents, the Declaration of Independence, the First Amendment, the 14th Amendment, but we strengthened it with the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We fought segregation, and now it's coming back. Critical race theory is the opposite of Martin Luther King's goal for our country. The goal of CRT is to find racism in every part of American society. It seeks to impose a new segregation on us. We're no longer to be judged as individuals, but instead as members of a group. And those groups are determined by the color of our skin. And we are given the titles of oppressor and oppressed, perpetrator and victim. It just is so anti-American value that it alarms me and it frightens me for our children. One of the things that I think is most insidious about it is it looks at unequal outcomes. You know, I was a special education teacher, and you can't give people the same outcomes. There's so much in the course of our lives that make the outcomes of our lives come out differently. The proponents of CRT look at unequal outcomes and say that they happen because of racism. And it's insidious because it negates meritocracy. The idea that if you work hard and you put effort in and that you persevere, if you make good decisions, that you will succeed, that you'll get your little piece of the American dream. I think the fact that it negates meritocracy is depressing, because what it says is the only thing that matters is the color of your skin, that your character doesn't matter, that your effort doesn't matter, and that the only way for one person to rise is for them to tear down another. I have been challenged by, a member of the news media who said, look at Providence schools. What a mess they are. You can't say that racism doesn't exist in Providence schools. Compare them to Barrington. You can't say that Providence doesn't have racism. What Providence has is mismanagement, and a lot of it. What Providence has is a lot of bad educational leaders who have allowed the schools to not meet the challenges and not deliver good educations to their students. I actually looked up, and Providence spends $1,000 more than the average for the state on education. We give Providence all the resources that they need. Their per pupil costs are higher than the average. It is mismanagement there and not racism. But CRT would have you believe that everything is racism. It's just not true. I've also been asked, does this mean we can't teach history? Of course not. I was taught history. I know about the Civil War. I know about all of the bad things that America has done as it's been growing. America, more than any other country, we're hard on ourselves for the failings of our past, but we learn from them. One of the wonderful things about America is it always strives to do better. So yes, we can teach history, we can teach all of the facts. What we can't do is treat racism in our present day society as a fact. We can't teach CRT as a fact. We can teach it as opinion. We can ask students to challenge themselves on an opinion, just like we teach children about communism or socialism or any other kind of ism out there. But it's not a fact. It's an opinion. When children are exposed to neo-racism and race shaming, it is a step backwards for our country. It brings new segregation. A school child in Warwick doesn't have any control over what happens nationally or even in Providence. Their skin color has even less to do with what's happening in Providence. Leave those children alone. Stop subjecting them to neo-racism and race shaming. It's destructive, and it makes other problems worse. It threatens the cohesiveness of our American culture. We would never accept race shaming if it was directed towards black school children. We should not accept it when it's directed at white school children. And that is what is happening in our schools. I have the emails. The answer to racism is not more racism. The answer is not a new kind of racism, a new kind of segregation. Race shaming is not the answer. The answer is the goal that was set down by Martin Luther King 70 years ago. And that is that we don't never judge people by the color of their skin, but instead know them as individuals and accept them by the content of their character.